Afternoon, folks. Brian here at Geomagnetic Earthwatch on Thursday, November 30, 2023 on our planet. I hope you're all well. So people, I'm going to try and do a series of educational videos. This is mostly for the newer people who are just coming on. Now, unlike other people on YouTube, I'm not going to give you fancy word salads to try and impress you. I'm going to try and explain it in layman's terms as simple as possible as more and more people become aware of space weather events and our weakening protective magnetic field. So such as my written document this morning, which was something I just very quickly typed out before I headed out the door. I'm going to try and do more of those as well as some of these video presentations. So today I want to talk about Earth's protective magnetic field and the magnetopause. First, let's go through the timing again on our next series of impacts. So nothing has changed all that much. These are our successions of CMEs followed by the coronal mass ejection from the M9.9 flare. I'll be coming back to this in a minute. So the timing really hasn't changed all that much. So it's going to start at approximately 0200 hours UTC time, which again, depending on where you are in the world, if you're on the west coast of North America, we minus 7 hours, therefore 7 p.m. or an hour and 20 minutes from the time of this videos. It will peak at 0600 UTC or 11 p.m. West Coast time, and it will end at approximately 12 noon tomorrow or 0500 a.m. West Coast time tomorrow morning. Let's continue. So I'm just going to talk while I'm playing this video. This is from the Space Weather Prediction Center of NOAA. This is the current solar wind as it's hitting our planet. So the highly dynamic solar wind continuously bombards Earth's protective magnetosphere, which changes in response to the solar wind. Now, the magnetopause is the outer boundary of our magnetic field, our magnetic magnetosphere. And it is the boundary between our geomagnetic field and the interplanetary magnetic fields, or otherwise called the IMF. So the standoff distance is dependent on the pressure of the solar winds and its speed and the pressure of Earth's magnetic field. The IMF, or the Interplanetary Magnetic Field, originates and is connected to our sun. It envelops and protects all of the planets in our solar system. And the IMF tends to cause the solar wind to rotate with the sun. And I'll show you an example. So here's the plasma cloud from our CMEs coming in. So this here would be from the coronal hole opening, that dark region, bringing the accelerated solar winds, which it looks like the timing is not going to conjoin with the CME impact. However, it will be shortly following. So the solar winds are released from the sun. However, when it comes to coronal mass ejections, with the force, so this is the Earth-facing one, We'll get back to that later. So this here, this yellow line is what we call the magnetopause, which is the outer edge. Play this again. This is the outer edge of our protective magnetic field. The reason why it's buffeting around like that is because it's the incoming solar winds hitting and compressing on our magnetic field. All these objects here are the rotating satellites, and this is Earth. So this is the 28th. This is more or less normal, more or less. And it is usually measured here at around 11 or 12. So these solar winds on the 28th were on average of 470 kilometers per second. So let's jump ahead to the current time. Actually, hang on. Let's play this one more time for you. So this is more or less the normal space weather environment with the solar winds impacting our magnetic field. So let's jump ahead to the first, or the current time. Let's back up one day. Now let's go to the current time. You can see how the solar wind impact is already compressing the magnetopause, the outer edge of our protective magnetic field. It was here, it's now here. And we have not started yet the CME impact. That's not for another, it could be anywhere from 15 minutes to an hour and 15 minutes. So you can see how the magnetopause is becoming wrapped tighter around our planet. I'll show you another animation. So this is current. So this is planet Earth. This is the magnetopause, the outer edge of our protective magnetic field, magnetosphere. So this one is velocity. Bam, just got hit. This is the density. And the pressure of the solar winds. Now watch the pressure. See, we're just getting started. Now, so I've shown you this picture once before. This garbled mess is the magnetic field lines of our planet. When we have a 100% field strength organized with the geomagnetic poles in their proper positions, more or less antipodal. Antipodal means directly opposite to one another. They do not have to be exact opposite, but more or less. So our magnetic field leaves the south polar regions, envelops our planet, and comes back in through the north magnetic cusp. Normally. However, every 12,000 years, our geomagnetic poles go on an excursion. They leave their more or less stable positions, and this is what we end up having. This mess. Disorganized, not orientated, which results in the weakening of our protective magnetic field. We end up having multiple magnetic norths and magnetic souths. This is during the geomagnetic excursion. sometimes leading to a reversal. It does not matter at this time which one it's going to be, because we're not going to be here. What matters is our protective magnetic field has already lost approximately 25 to 35% field loss. Therefore, we have less protection from our incoming solar wind environment and the push from coronal mass ejections. So later on this evening and into tomorrow, this is going to be wrapped tighter around our planet. So our protective magnetosphere is already starting to shrink, coming close to our orbiting satellites. The solar wind speed, the average, is between 250 and 350 kilometers per second. Currently, they're at 435. As we get into the CME hits, it will be elevated to approximately 600 kilometers per second, possibly higher. So at the current time, everything is relatively calm currently. I'm not going to explain the KP index in this video. So these bars, as we get into our geomagnetic storm, are going to spike up into the, you know what? We're not even going to start off at KP5 G1 minor geomagnetic storm. We may start off at G2 moderate and very quickly ascend to KP7 G3 strong geomagnetic storm. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see a red bar jump up into G4 geomagnetic storm conditions. We will see. So this is going to conclude today's discussion on magnetopause, which is the separation between Earth's protective magnetic field and the interplanetary magnetic field, which is generated from our sun. I will try and do as much as I can for you, because this is now very important, and for those who want to know what's happening. And from there you can try and explain it to your family and friends. So again, right now we haven't gotten into it. I will update these videos in shorter videos and post them on my Facebook page. Take care, people.